sell or transfer 460,000 acres of public land, will generate revenue and offer space to build houses in western cities. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
For many of us, we get to work and sometimes we feel like we're hit by a freight train. You walk in the door and everyone and everything is demanding your time. So you feel behind even before you start. The other day as I pulled up to the station, my mind's already racing about things we need to do to give you the best program we could create. Informative, timely, educational. But as I reached for the door handle, I saw a flash of red. It was a robin jumping from spot to spot, only to stop, cock its head as if listening, then jumping to another spot. A side note here. Even though robins appear to be listening, they cock their heads to adjust their vision of an area. Anyway, this robin continues to hop, and from time to time would stop and peck at a piece of ground. Maybe it would peck more than once at a piece of ground, and then hop to another spot and another. If he got a worm or even a small bug, I don't know. But I do know, rather than rushing into the station, I just sat there, watching God's creature. I need to take more time for such things.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
McGuire Moving is silver certified, which means they are great at relocating senior citizens. In fact, McGuire is a household name because McGuire understands the stress involved when moving older adults. So if you or family members need help moving, I highly recommend McGuire Moving. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. Get a free in-home estimate. McGuireMoving.com. John Bill Roofing reminds you we are in the stormy season, and that means if you have even the smallest leak in your roof, you could soon have a much bigger issue. Call the John Bill to make sure that your biggest investment is protected. That call can save you major dollars. If you do get hit during a storm, John Bill has a rapid response team. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, John Bill.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit STLFenceworks.com. You're listening to the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Oh, give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your 3 Martini lunch. Jamie Allman here, really happy to be with you. Stel Ponticus over there. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. And over the next couple hours, I can pretty much assure you that you will not be hearing the screeching wildebeest banshees who are preventing ICE from doing. I just can't do it anymore. I can't listen to it anymore, Stell. And I know it's news and everything else, and people. And I just kind of tuned into Fox News, and it's just like, why play anything if it's just going to be like beep 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 beep, beeping out the cuss word. I just can't tolerate it anymore.
I know the whole weekend seemed to be filled with the situation in New Jersey.
Oh, by the way, what is wrong with these people anyway? It's like we have suddenly a brand new generation of screeching wildebeests in politics now. It's unbelievable. And I'm sorry, but you know what? And people are like, oh, yeah, you just call them animals. I'm telling you they are. No normal, sane individual behaves in the way that these people do. No one does. And I don't know who raised them or what the deal was. I guarantee you it's a generational thing. These people think that they could do whatever they want to do, and they don't care. They have no qualms about what they're doing and their insurrections and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like really crazy. I mean, it's almost like it's a weird kind of Tourette's syndrome almost. And I was saying this yesterday or last week with you, and it was like if you even remotely had people like that in your lives, how long would you really put up with that? I mean, we used to kind of have a name for people like that back in the day who behaved in that fashion, but I can't say it. I can't say it on the air because everybody's going to get all mad at me and everything else. That's all. Before I get into other stuff here, Stell, how was your 50th wedding anniversary?
Oh, it was great. Thanks very much. We had a great time. Went to dinner on Saturday at the Old Dutch Hotel Tavern and Grill. That's in the old hotel in downtown Washington.
Oh,
went there for dinner.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, get ready for this. We went to see The Wizard of Oz.
Really?
Yeah. Big screen version at the
neat.
theater in Washington. They do flashback cinema a couple times a month.
Oh, yeah.
So they have Blazing Saddles and Grease.
I love it.
And
Blazing
other
Saddles. Where all the white women at?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? And it was The Wizard of Oz this weekend. So that was fun.
Love The Wizard of Oz so much. I've been trying to, my kids, I don't know.
And speaking of kids, the kids who were there watching it, there were quite a few there along with their parents, very well behaved, and everybody was really into the movie. So there were no goofy things going on with anybody. Everybody just really was zoned in on the movie, which was great.
I really think I can't. This is one of my disappointing things as a father that I have not. I'm never going to be able to complete this task, which is to get my girls to watch The Wizard of Oz. I don't believe any child should grow up without seeing The Wizard of Oz. I think I can't imagine growing up not seeing that movie. I can understand why they won't watch The Godfather with me. It's kind of a running gag always. Oh, it's time to watch The Godfather, girls, because they're the two left at home now, and I can't get them to do that. I understand that, but The Wizard of Oz, there's no excuse for not seeing that, and I still can't seem to break into that. The answer as to why they don't want to watch it, and I just remember as a kid, like The Wizard of Oz was on one time a year on TV. Right? Remember?
It always seemed to be around the holidays, didn't it?
Well, yeah, like sometimes in the spring or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember it was drop everything. We're watching The Wizard of Oz. And it was only on TV. It's kind of like back in the day when Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you didn't have DVDs or cassette tapes or whatever, VHS tapes. It came on TV on a Tuesday night or whatever, 7:00. And if you missed it, you missed it.
That was it.
It was on. And the Wizard of Oz was so great. And the great thing about the Wizard of Oz is, as a kid, it was so terrifying, but you couldn't stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you were scared to death the first time you saw it, but then you had to watch it again the next time around.
Mm-hmm.
It's what a great, and plus it was great also because I wouldn't tell the girls this, but the people who made the Wizard of Oz were definitely on peyote. They were definitely, this is 1934, right?
Right in there, 32, 34, somewhere in there. Yes.
They were doing some drugs back in the day, and it paid off very, very well.
They gave a little backstory, by the way, before the movie started. And Shirley Temple was originally supposed to do the Judy Garland character, but she was signed to a different studio. And so that was, I guess, why they zoned in on Judy Garland. What a great pick that turned out to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure Shirley would have done a great job, but Judy, because of the music, I think really fit in well.
Well, and the cast of characters, imagine what a breakthrough it had to be, what you had to kind of connect with Burt Lahr and Jack Haley and Ray Bolger.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to say, we're gonna Jack Haley, especially, who was kind of like a serious movie actor, you know, but he also did some comedy, and we're gonna dress you up as the Tin Man. First it was Buddy Epson, but he got sick or something, right?
That's right. I think you're right.
Yeah, but then they had we're gonna cover you in silver.
He was allergic to the silver.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah. So and keep in mind, these guys were all, with the exception of Burt Lahr, who was a very funny comedian. So he was back in the day. He was back kind of in the Buster Keaton day, and it was he was a very funny guy. But imagine, it was probably easier to get him to do the Cowardly Lion and be that way than it was to get like Jack Haley. And Ray Bolger was an amazing dancer, and which is why the Scarecrow was so limber and nimble and everything else, because Ray Bolger was an outstanding dancer, and so was, to a certain degree, Jack Haley. But can you imagine getting all those people, you know, to do all this kind of stuff, because they had to be really invested, like they had to know this was going to be a cool movie, right? And then you had to get all kinds of midgets, you know,
for the Munchkins.
Yeah. And then, of course, the woman who played the witch,
the Wicked
Witch. I actually, as a little boy, I kind of had a thing for the Good Witch, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, came down in that bubble, all blonde and talked all nice and everything. I'm like, who is she? Is anybody really like? Are there real people like that? That was Billie Burke, and Billie Burke was a outstanding actress and beautiful too, and
beautiful red hair.
Yeah, coming down in that bubble. She was. Hey, ladies, if you could figure that out someday, where you just come down in a bubble, all dressed up, that's your ticket. That's going to be your key to the guys. If all the girls want to know what the trick is, come down in a bubble with a wand. And she was pretty hardcore too, because she had very little patience for the Wicked Witch. You know, like when she was very nice and sing-songy, and then when it came time to talking to the witch, she's like, you know, it was great. That's why I want to see Wicked, to tell you the truth, because I hear some great things, and what a great story that is about the stories of the sisters. You know, it's a great one. See, you got me all. I didn't come here to talk about the Wizard of Oz, but now that you got me going on it. And then, of course, I remember the flying monkeys were just outrageously terrifying. I still can't figure. Actually sometimes will get lost in a research hole, but were they really monkeys, or what were they? Or were they like midgets dressed up as monkeys?
I thought they were midgets dressed up as monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Funny thing was, this morning, Kathy asked me if I had any dreams about those flying monkeys and the Munchkins. No, I didn't.
Just the Good Witch, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't tell her that, though, did you?
No.
But no. And here's the thing. Remember, there was a guy here, and this is kind of funny because I think JC at one point, I can't remember, but there was a midget who lived in St. Louis.
Yes, that's right.
And he claimed that he was in the Wizard of Oz.
Was that Mickey Carroll?
Yeah. And I'll never forget, Mickey Carroll. And I'll never forget, I think somebody one time dared to say, to claim that he was lying. He never really wasn't a midget. I mean, just because you're a midget doesn't mean you can run around claiming you were in the Wizard of Oz. But I did notice that that after that, the midgets, like there was never any like interview with a bunch of midgets who were in the Wizard of Oz. Why was that? I have no idea. Like you'd think like we'd know who all of them were, but I guess we didn't. So I don't know.
You would think you would have seen them on the Jack Parr show, and then Johnny Carson and all the rest of them all over late night TV back in the day.
Yeah. It's really, really a great show. Anyway, thanks for bringing that up. That sounds like great to see it on the big screen too.
It was fun, and it was digital, so there were no lines across the screen or any fuzzy VHS kind of stuff. It was crystal clear video.
Did you and Kathy smoke a bowl before you went in there? No, but anyway, happy anniversary. That's
thank you.
That's
Thanks
great,
very much.
I'm glad you had a good time. That's a special Mother's Day too, of course, in that sense.
50th anniversary and Mother's Day. Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Yeah. All right. So it was talk about busy, man. Scott, listen to Scott Opelt. I called Mickey Carroll about 30 years ago. His name was on the white pages, and he answered the phone, and we talked. He worked for a monument company making gravestones at the time back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, apparently, too, he frequented some bars and stuff, and they all knew him there and everything else. So anyway, it was a really hugely busy and consequential morning. And you talk about obsessions. How much fun have you had watching people freak out about the Qatari jet, the airplane? Oh my goodness. We'll talk about that on the other side of here. Plus all the great things happening as it relates to your prescription drugs. It's a big, pretty busy morning. That's for sure. But yeah, they're freaking out about this jet. And I'll tell you why exactly when we return here on the Allman Report. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I was just talking to somebody the other day because we were looking at a home. And they specifically, because it was in a home with some deteriorating windows, and they specifically talked about Window World. They said they were in conversations with them because they were going to kind of redo the whole house if they wound up purchasing the house. So again, it was like absolutely top of mind in just some people who I randomly connected with through doing real estate with the Walner home selling team. So Window World is indeed simply the best for less. 314-993-1800. It's the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. It's ranked number 1 in windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. And there you're getting kind of the hint about just how amazing these windows are, because remodelers love them. And you can imagine that homeowners love them too, right? So that's exactly where we're at with Window World. And I'm so happy to have John Gillette and the Window World team supporting free common sense conservative radio. They are rock stars in the industry. And so I'm pretty lucky to be rubbing shoulders with those guys. And one thing that separates Window World from the rest of the folks is their commitment to customer service. So all you have to do to check that is check their record with the BBB. So you honestly, people, you just can't go wrong, and you're with a company that supports what you support in this beautiful world of ours. Window World, simply the best for less. 314-993-1800.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best in each of us, made better by the best in all of us. Whatever success looks like to you, Stifel is invested in yours. That's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. So whether you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
I think you're a little confused.
News, analysis, opinion.
I've got something to say and I can't hold it any longer.
1019 and 94.1.
You won't hear the truth anywhere but here. News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here, pleased and privileged to be with you. Happy to be here. Stel Ponticus right over there. And you got to realize that whenever President Trump does something that doesn't cost anything, that basically is free or that we don't have to pay for, have you noticed that the media and all the other people totally flip out about it? They go crazy because the way of the news media is that the taxpayer must pay for everything. Anything for free just doesn't cut it. It's got to be other people's money that pays for it. And so to them, the idea of accepting a gift of sorts from Qatar, like what do you have a problem with Qatar now? I thought you guys in the news media, every time some Middle Eastern, Saudi Arabia, whatever pops out, you run to defend them. Hell, you defend the 9/11 hijackers. Under this particular media, they'd be the way they defend terrible people. I guarantee you, if the 9/11 attacks happened today, half the news media would be defending these guys somehow, some way. Back in 2001, of course, you wouldn't dare blame America for it. You wouldn't dare ape the words coming out of the terrorists. But I guarantee you, they would be doing that now. ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, they will be taking the side of the terrorists, saying because back in the day, like you were a particularly awful person if you came out after 9/11 and said, well, our involvement in the Middle East, no wonder they're all pissed off, right? It took a really special dark person to say that. Now that would be an everyday thing in the news media. That would be an everyday occurrence. That's how far the news media has fallen, to the point where now they're defending terrorists, they're defending rapists, they're defending murderers. But then, of course, Qatar, which has done nothing to us. Like Qatar is an absolute gem when it comes. I think some people pronounce it Qatar or gutter.
Cutter.
But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I'm not doing that. It's Qatar, and that's how I'm going to say it. I'm not doing the gutter thing. It's kind of like when people, they're doing stories about Hispanic people or like Guatemala, and the news anchor's like, meanwhile, in Guatemala, I'm like, dude, it's Guatemala. You don't have to say. That's why Obama used to do all that kind of stuff all the time. Well, I got to tell you, the people in Guatemala, it's like, it's Guatemala, dude. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I'm not saying Cutter, whatever that is. It's Qatar. It's like Quasar, the TV. That's how I'm doing it. So anyway, they were our stopover point during the Iraq War and during the Afghanistan War. We got a base over there. I mean, they're friends of ours, you know? And so, I mean, and they're giving Trump a plane because, unfortunately, our hometown company, Boeing, is for whatever reason dragging its feet and claiming that there's supply problems and all this kind of stuff. And so Trump's like, yeah, they're going to give me an airplane. Why don't you guys go and talk to Boeing instead of hassling me about the fact that I'm trying to replace a 40-year-old airplane? Why are you yelling at me? You guys know why he's accepting the airplane from Qatar, and he's accepting it because there's nobody else making any tracks to get the new Air Force One done. So he's accepting it. So anyway, the news media, I'm telling you what, they are the naggiest of nags. They will not forget anything. So even during this amazing consequential news conference today, where President Trump signs an executive order lowering drug prices by maybe as much as 80%, changing the entire landscape of medicine and access to pharmaceuticals and the costs of pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's an incredible thing. And you're like, well, Allman, why are you talking about Qatar then? I'll get to that. And we're no longer having to pay for research and development for these companies. You don't have anybody paying for your research and development. Yeah, I know, but we're saving lives. Like, shut up. You're just piling drugs into people's mouths. That's what you're doing. But anyway, the reality is you're in a situation where, their drug companies, if they want to compete, they're going to compete, first of all, here in the United States, and they're going to pay for their own research and development or have somebody else sponsor them or do whatever. But I shouldn't have to pay for your research into, well, it's for the greater good. It's like, no, it's not. If it's for the greater good, then you ought to be able to put the money in yourself and you can make it back, whatever. I mean, so here's the thing. We're already paying a lot as taxpayers for their research and development, and still paying out of our rear ends for the drugs. So it's unbelievable. As they're not, they might want to pass the cost of research and development. Everybody has a cost of doing business. And if one company wants to pass that cost on the consumer and the other one doesn't, guess who's going to use the other one that doesn't? Yeah, everybody. So anyway, throughout this whole thing, and at the tail end, President Trump is literally signing the executive order, and this ABC reporter just won't let it go.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why not?
It's only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet.
By the way, this is so horrible because I'm sitting here and I could see RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz and Dr. Bhattacharya, and there's another guy right behind President Trump as he's signing an executive order that is going to change the lives of everybody, not just MAGA people or Republicans, but of Democrats and lefties and anybody. He's changing people's lives. We're watching him. And this harlot wants to sit there and focus on this luxury jet.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
It's
not?
only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is.
Yeah, because she wants taxpayers to pay for another jet. She doesn't want anything for free. That's you and me. That's the peasant's job, right? You and me as the peasants, we're supposed to be paying for that. So the same people who were bitching about all the cuts in the budget and the defattening of the federal budget. They're complaining about that. Elon Musk is public enemy number one because he's saving taxpayer dollars. I mean, if this doesn't give you an indication of just how these elites in the media and the political class, how much they hate you, how much they think of you as just, again, a bunch of peasants, it's pretty incredible. We're watching it every single day.
Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead.
I mean, only Donald Trump could possibly bring up Sam Snead. You know, I mean, I know he's a golfer. He's an avid golfer and everything else, but only President Trump could bring up Sam Snead as he's about to just obliterate this reporter.
And he mentioned,
You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a business.
Respectfully, yeah, whatever.
and he gave the line, and he also said how many tournaments Sam had won.
But here's the thing. So in the mind of the person at ABC, though, if they were given a putt, they would say, no. I don't want to take the putt. And then they would have you and me, the peasant, try to putt their ball in. That's how twisted the news media and some of these other people are. So even if they were given a putt, they wouldn't take it because they want to put it in themselves, but they would make us do it for them. They wouldn't putt it themselves. That's just how effete and elite these individuals are.
And some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received anything?
It's not a gift to me. It's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, ABC is absolutely the worst. They have the most biased people in there. They are an absolute disaster. I mean, CBS isn't far behind. I would place NBC. I mean, at least NBC, they might be sometimes annoying, but at least they seem to be taking their job seriously. But man, ABC is just such a hack.
It seemed like most of the weekend, Trump was going after ABC, Martha Raddatz, and calling the Slopodopoulos show over the weekend.
Yeah.
And had another nickname for Martha Raddatz. Can't remember what it was. But you're right. He was going after ABC.
Yeah. Martha Raddatz. Poor Martha Raddatz. She looks and sounds like she's crying every time she talks, which is, I can't imagine that being something that one could enjoy life with if you are a person who every time you opened your mouth, you sounded like you were crying. Hi, Martha Raddatz. You okay? Are you crying? No, it's just my voice. Anyway, so mean. You know, Stella, you're a mean guy, man. You're just making fun of these people all the time. And Stephanopoulos, of course, didn't he? Was that the one where he said that Trump was convicted of rape?
Yes, and said it numerous times while the director's telling him in his ear, stop it.
Yeah.
And he still kept doing it. But I can make fun of him because he's Greek and I'm Greek. So
yeah, right.
I can slam him as Slopodopoulos.
I mean, they do it with so little shame.
Mm-hmm.
And President Trump, I mean, he rightfully, when he came up with the term "enemy," everybody thought, well, you're putting a target on the back of the news media. It's like, rightly so. I mean, these people are betrayers, and again, they don't like connect the dots. Like they can't. President Trump isn't going to sit there and engage him. But if I'm President Trump, although he doesn't have time because he's busy saving America from high drug prices, and so he sits there. And if I had a line of questioning with the ABC reporter, I'd be like, okay, so in your mind, in your fantasy, what would be the problem with me accepting this jet? Like, what is the problem? In your mind, what is the problem? Like, what's going to happen? Is Qatar going to blackmail me? Is Qatar going to claim that we owe them? Like, what in your mind is the problem with me getting a nice jet from Qatar? What is your problem? And then I'm going to put it in the library like Reagan did with his 707. But I'm trying to figure out, like, and that's where you really get these people, because you start asking them questions. Of course, you know what their response will be. I'm the one answering the questions, sir. I'm the journalist. You don't ask the questions. I do. But that would be the one I would ask them. I'd be like, okay, so it just walk me through your problem with me taking a jet. Walk me through that. And you know what? Snow, what's the phone number here?
It is 314-912-1019, 912-1019.
Call me, please, if you can explain to me what the problem is with President Trump accepting a jet from Qatar. I want to know what it is, because it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you hate Trump, you automatically go, oh, he shouldn't be accepting gifts, blah, 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 while you're watching Nancy Pelosi enrich yourself from insider trading. But anyway, whatever. I mean, but give me a shout. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll talk about that. And there's a little secret about today's events with the pharmaceuticals and everything else, and it is absolutely brilliant. I'll bring that to you on a silver platter after this. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about the Gemini Wealth Group, the GeminiWealthGroup.com. Jeff Portman's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, and he is an advisor of mine for retirement, everything else. I'm never going to be retiring, and I don't want to either. But here's the thing. But if you're in that mode where you're going to be retiring, and you know you're going to be living 20, 30 years because you've taken such good care of yourself, had that vodka every single day, haven't you? Just like my mama, right? So you're going to live longer, but you want to make sure that you are not living longer, but then starving, or living longer and having to live in a shack, or living longer and not having the money to pay the bills. So here's what you do. You sit there with your portfolio now, you size it up, you make sure that everything is diversified. And if not, then you just diversify it. They'll help you through that. You make sure you have all your tax liabilities and everything else straightened out with yourself. And you also have to make sure that your all your health insurance coverage, all that kind of stuff is important. But I will tell you that you need to have far-sighted views of your retirement. You need to be evaluating exactly how much money you've been putting in. If you're newly retired and you're not comfortable with whoever is working on your retirement thing, then get the Gemini Wealth Group on your side. And if you're about to retire or even 5 years out, start planning now, because Jeff Portman and his team are going to be there for you for the duration. The GeminiWealthGroup.com, the GeminiWealthGroup.com, or you can call Jeff Portman directly at 314-888-0123, 314-888-0123, proud sponsors of free common sense conservative radio.
Experience the true flavors of Mexico at Dos Primos, O'Fallon's premier Mexican restaurant. From sizzling fajitas to homemade caldo de pollo, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and traditional recipes, all made fresh daily in our kitchen. Cool down with our famous margaritas or your favorite cerveza, while our friendly staff makes you feel like family. Dine in or carry out. Visit DosPrimosMexicanRestaurant.com or find us on North Main in O'Fallon.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
U.S.-China trade talks. I don't expect anything solid out of them, but it is a beginning.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Good afternoon. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. What's that number again?
314
314
912
912
1019.
1019. We'll watch for it. Somebody, I just want an answer. Jason is like, well, Ann Wagner's pretty good at insider trading as well. It's like, no kidding. But, you're like, but I was talking about the fact that the only people freaking out about the Qatar thing are a bunch of left-wing loons, Democrats, and the news media who are busy themselves enriching themselves. So I mean, bring up Ann Wagner. It's like not even a legit argument.
And the president went out of his way to explain the fact that the plane that's currently in use is 40, maybe more than 40 years old.
Yeah, as I pointed out, it's a 40-year-old airplane, and we're waiting for refurbishments from Boeing, and they're not doing it.
And Boeing's got 2 on order, and they say, well, we can't get them done till 2035. Oh, yeah, well, great. This is 2025.
Yeah, it's like at that point, just eat a bag. As far as I'm concerned, you're done. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So here is the really great thing about this. In this town, don't seem to know she exists. Oh, I gotcha. Jason says, I'm saying every chance I get, I'm going to mention Ann Wagner's name because for some reason, the 2 radio stations in this town don't seem to know she exists. I got you. Yeah, I get it. I although I'll tell you what, in the run up to the November, I tried to get Ann on a lot, but it's kind of hard to do sometimes.
Well, where we live out in Washington, that's kind of a running comment every year. We never see Ann Wagner. Yeah. Oh, there's an election coming up. She showed up in town maybe once or twice. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, folks out there say we never see her at all.
Yeah. So you know what I'm really interested in, and I think you all ought to be interested in. And this is where I think we can do away with the tribalism that seems to infect a lot of us. as in like Republicans can do no wrong. And we're, of course, better and should be better at calling Republicans out because, as you know, those closest to you can do the most damage to you, right? So you've got some people who, these people can do harm and you're voting for them. So anyway, this pharmaceutical issue is a really super important one. And the one question you have to ask yourself is, why is it that we had to wait until May 12th of 2025 to have anything done about reducing drug prices? Why? Why? May 12th, 2025. Do you know how often Democrats, and for that matter, Republicans, have blathered on, raised money, and ran for office on the promise of reducing drug prices? And yet they haven't. They haven't. Same thing about defunding Planned Parenthood and all that other nonsense that Republicans have been babbling about forever and never do anything about it. It's kind of like when Republicans and Democrats are running, they would always promise to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. That's what we're going to do for all you Jewish folks. Vote for me. And they never do it. So how is it possible that on May 12th of 2025, we had to wait until today to have that happen? And it happens with a stroke of a pen. And why? You know why? Because most of Congress are prostitutes for the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry is the number one funder of campaigns in the country. The pharmaceutical industry is the number one contributor to political campaigns in the country. And so, and people, are we supposed to just like forget that it exists? Are we supposed to actually pretend in some way, shape, or form that there's no connection? I mean, you have to be an imbecile to not see the connection there. Sometimes common sense is what gets you through this. And these politicians are on the take. There's no other explanation. I mean, I'm terrible at math. My daughters make fun of me about that. But I know what an equation is and what it equals when I see it. Pharmaceutical companies, for a decade, largest contributor to political campaigns, number one contributor to political campaigns. There's nobody above them. They are the top dog in contributions to political campaigns. And it just so happens that over the last 10, 15 years, we've never seen a reduction in drug prices. Why? Because pharmaceutical companies don't want a reduction in drug prices, and these guys are all prostitutes for them. So they do what they want to do. Now, what's happening, especially Republicans, shame on you for not doing anything about this. Shame on you for not stepping up and doing anything about this. And you know what? You're going to get stuck like a pig, because you know what's going to happen? Democrats who have used this issue to run for elections and everything else and still themselves haven't done anything about it are now going to do something about it. Ro Khanna and a couple other people are going, you know what? He's a congressman. And Bernie Sanders is a senator. They said today, hey, you know what? We'll codify this in law, Mr. Trump. So President Trump is actually giving Democrats a gift, because guess what? They're the only ones today who come forward and said, that's a great idea. Let's put it into law. And so that's not Trump's fault. That's the Republicans' fault for a legacy of laziness and a legacy of being bought and paid for. At least the Democrats are going to come forward and do something about it. But you're giving a gift to Democrats right now, President Trump. And you know what? just like Sam Snead, take it and go to the next hole because, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
We've got Tom on line 1 who wants to talk about the plane situation.
Tom.
They planes. They planes.
Yes. Hi, Tom. How are you, my friend?
Hey. You know, through the years since we became a nation, a lot of nations, kings, queens, have given gifts to the American people. Now, I guess if they don't like it, we'll have to, the Statue of Liberty, we'll send it back. Now, the airplane, that's a gift from Qatar. And to show you how great of a negotiator Trump is, they offered him the plane, and he says, no, not unless you throw in 77 virgins. Then I might take it. My take.
I love it. I love it. Well, Tom, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, adios.
All right, buddy. You too. That's funny. 77 virgins. Yeah, I mean, but that's again, this is incredible. What just happened here, and how Republicans are not doing this and picking up the ball, and because they can't, because they are officially on the landmine that only blows up when you step off of it. You see, because it's Republicans who have taken the most money from pharmaceutical companies, and that's why President Trump is the first Republican in the history of man to take action to reduce the cost of drugs. When the Democrats did it, they tried, they didn't do it either. But the reality is, this is an amazing thing, and too bad, because it might help Democrats, because this is their issue. And especially watch what happens when Democrats try to codify this into law. And if you're a Republican, now you better keep your mouth shut at this point. You need to, again, pull a Sam Snead. You're given a putt. You can vote for it, right? You can go ahead and vote for it, and you can take the credit for it. But if you dare go against what's going on, you're a dead man. And President Trump is so good at this, and it's a little bit of a chess game. He's not doing this to hurt any other politicians or whatever, but he's doing this and trapping elected representatives into finally delivering on what they've been talking about incessantly for the longest time. It's now time to put your money where your mouth is. And that is excellent. Oh, I have another McDonald's story for you. I'm going to make you hungry after this. It's Common Sense Radio.
Another RX Watch, brought to you by Onder Law.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this. RX Watch has learned that the talc they use is being mined in China.
Right, and talc mined in China contains heavy metal contaminants like chromium and magnesium, which are known to cause cancer. But China doesn't care.
So China gets the jobs and we get contaminated talc in our baby powder.
And ovarian cancer.
Right. With their specialized tests, the medical team at Onder Law can help you know if your ovarian cancer was caused by talc.
Onder Law has helped women for years with free and confidential consultation. You need to call Onder Law's pharma attorneys at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
That's 1-800-RX-WATCH, or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives. It's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. U.S. drug prices are considered to be the highest, and President Trump has a plan that will tie the price of medications covered by Medicare and administered in a doctor's office to the lowest price paid by other countries, significantly lowering drug costs. Mr. Trump summarizes the new plan.
My administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. And we're using the term other developed countries because there are some countries that need some additional help, and that's fine. I think that's very good.
If there's no deal, the president says he will establish new pricing guidelines. Eden Alexander was 19 when Hamas terrorists stormed the Israeli military base where the American-Israeli from New Jersey was a soldier and dragged him into the Gaza Strip. Hamas released Alexander today. Alexander had been the last living American hostage in Gaza, and his release came ahead of President Trump's visit to the region this week. Also at townhall.com, President Trump is cheering the agreement between the U.S. and China to suspend reciprocal tariffs. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton with a report.
Following weekend trade talks between the two countries, the president said China will open up its market to American businesses and suspend trade barriers.
I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us. And I think it's going to be great for unification and peace.
He said the reduced tariff rates don't include tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum. The president also said he'll likely speak soon with China's leader, Xi Jinping. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Wall Street is sharply higher, the Dow up more than 2.5%. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Don't settle for less. Your dog deserves the best. That's why we created Dr. Fido's, a plant-based dog food topper packed with 40 ingredients, made with whole foods from carrots to bananas. And the best part, no cooking, no chopping, just stir it into their food. Go to drfidos.com and order today. Veterinarian developed, dog trusted. This is the human-grade dog food topper that gives you peace of mind. Dogs can't write 5-star reviews, but their owners have.
I've always thought that dog food seems like a little bland, and so this helps give it a little bit of flavor, just something interesting for them, and yeah, they really love it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Spoil them with the best. Call 888-388-7297 or go to drfidos.com, drphytos.com. And for a limited time, order now and receive a 10% discount with our money-back guarantee.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a gloomy, cloudy, rainy Monday out there with scattered showers likely all day, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms, but not much in the way of lightning today. We are looking at a high temperature today in the mid-70s. The rain tapers off tonight. A few spotty showers or an isolated thunderstorm possible tomorrow, but not near as much rain. The high near 80. And by Thursday, we'll probably see some 90s. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. Means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
Hey, Tim Jones here. For 50 years, St. Louis homeowners have trusted one name with their outdoor dreams, Hydrodynamics. From custom irrigation systems to stunning outdoor lighting, from expert drainage solutions to beautiful hardscapes, they transform ordinary yards into extraordinary dreamscapes with certified experts that work with you to bring your vision to life, delivering unparalleled service every step of the way. Ready to make your dreamscape a reality? Visit hydrodynamicscore.com. That's hydrodynamicscore.com.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380.
News, analysis,
I'm glad you're talking about this.
opinion.
I'm glad you're fired up about it too, because I know I am.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. You're listening to the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Why drink the water from my hand? Contagious as you think I am.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here. Pleased and privileged to be with you on this Monday. Stel Ponticus over there. Stel emptying the trash during the break. Can you believe that?
Well, you know, when it gets filled to the brim,
yeah,
you got to do something. So
yeah,
got to
you do the dishes at home too.
Actually, believe it or not, we have a dishwasher. But if stuff's laying around, yes.
Well,
I mean,
but I mean, you have a dishwasher, like a human dishwasher, or
no, we have a real.
Oh, like a dishwasher.
Yeah, dishwasher.
But somebody's got to have to ask to load the dishwasher.
Yeah. Hey, Kathy and I kind of split that job, but I grew up in the restaurant business, so I'm used to doing it all the time.
Oh, yeah,
Did
me
it from
too.
when I was 7 years old.
I actually kind of like doing it, so I do the majority of that.
It's like a respite from everything else going on. I can do the dishes.
I feel like I can tell the girls, you know, it's like I feel like I'm sounding like my mother, you know. I'm like, if you can make it to the sink with that plate, you can sure as heck make it to the dishwasher with it because it's right next to the sink. So there's no reason to come, and although they do, because they're teenagers, but you know, there's no reason to just lay it in the sink when you can physically open a door that takes nothing and then put it in there. But then they're like, we have to wash it. And then there are people who wash the dishes before they put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, they kind of overdo it a little bit.
Oh, just a tad. I mean, you know, people, I have a few people in that. I'm going to call anybody out here, but you know, they're like, you don't have to put a clean plate in there. That's what the dishwasher is for. You know,
That's true.
You can do that.
Although I will admit there are times when I will sort of clean the plate off.
Yes, well, you have to. You know, 'cause it's like peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know, you want to do that, or catch it. You know, things like that. And then what happens though when you do that is that you then create the illusion that the dishwasher has clean dishes in it because you open it up and you don't see any dirt right on the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's deceiving because somebody who put them in there washed them already by washing and put them in the dishwasher. Then you're deceived and they're not really clean.
And there's also the hazard of opening it, thinking that everything's clean. You pull it out.
Yeah.
Put it all back in the pantry and you realize, wait a minute, that stuff's still dirty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And but Stel, next thing, I bet you during the next break, Stel's going to be cleaning that window over there.
And making some coffee for you.
Hey, so this is happening at these restaurants. I mean, I'm telling you what, and I hate to kind of sound like I'm just kind of this bitchy person, but it seems to me, and I don't want to sound like the get off my lawn guy, but it seems to me that society has dramatically deteriorated over the course of about 10, 15 years. And I mean, I'm talking about in terms of behaviors and where there's no such thing as shame anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's no such thing as shame or comportment or whatever. It's just like, is it me? Is it me, or do you all notice that the bar has become much, much lower now? That common kind of craziness that otherwise would be wholesalely rejected in any other society format is acceptable. And by the way, I'm not talking about people who are obsessed with drag queens or trans people or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Or even purple hair or what it knows. I mean, those are all things. I mean, come on. You sound like a fuddy-duddy when you're like, nose rings. It's like, okay, I get it. But, you don't want to be like the old man from the 1960s, oh, hippies, long hair, that kind of thing. I'm talking about something much deeper and much more problematic. And that is behaviors, threatening and otherwise, lack of respect for things. And like I saw a grown ass man in the Whole Foods parking lot yesterday. I wanted to go, it's expensive, but I wanted to grab some olives for Mother's Day, like another olive bar. I don't normally buy much over there because it's too expensive. Sitting in the parking lot, I saw some grown ass man hike the shopping cart up onto a curb and drive away. He's a grown ass, like 40-year-old dude, driving like a Lexus or whatever, but can't figure out how to take the cart back to the cart place. That's right in the middle of the damn parking lot. It's like 70 feet away. And I'm sitting there in my Jeep about to take off, and he just rolls that thing over and hikes it up on the curb where the grass is, like a little grassy knoll there. So not only does he hike it up on the curb, but he also then takes an entire parking space because there's a shopping cart half in the parking space and half up on the curb. And while normally that's not like a big deal, you wouldn't think, but really sometimes it's those little things that make you question, like, man, that is the height of laziness and self-involvement if I've ever seen it. I mean, I'm like, and this is a guy who probably thinks, where I am, Brentwood, and he's, the typical white liberal male, I don't think any conservative would do that. But, let somebody else do it. I'm gonna let the teenage black kid come and get that cart and put it in the pen for me because I'm too good to put a cart in the pen. And again, that's not that big of a thing, but in the end, sometimes it is those smaller things that kind of say a lot. I mean, it's just basic type of stuff. It's almost kind of like basic hygiene or basic this. It's like, wow, and that's another element of the break. I mean, I wonder, like, what his kids are like. Like, how is he raising his children? Because let me tell you something. If any one of my children did that, I would be livid. And let me tell you something. They will never do that. Because I feel like, and I'm not bragging, but I feel like I have taught them elements of basic, comportment in society and getting along with other people and doing your part and, throwing stuff away in a trash can, backing into a parking space. I've given up. I'm no longer going to complain about that. I just I've given up, and so it's okay, all good. But then to me that's not rude. But the other stuff is it's just like crazy. And then of course you have the situation where for some reason, and this has been in the past, it's not like it's a big deal. Some reason the ne'er-do-well kids come in packs. And what they've been doing in some areas of the country is ruining parks, restaurants, whatever. And so what I was getting to is a story in Virginia, Fairfax County, Virginia, where a McDonald's, you have to be 21 to dine inside the McDonald's, and you have to ring a doorbell for them to open up the door of McDonald's for you.
Policy is now in place at a McDonald's in Fairfax County. Those who want to dine inside the Franconia Road location must be 21 years of age or older. This comes after multiple fights among young people broke out in the dining room area, according to management. News 4's Dominic Moody explains the reason for the change and the new process customers have to go through to get a Happy Meal.
Yeah. You guys want to guess what the reason for the changes? She just said it. Doesn't understand local television. They tell the entire story. The anchor does, and then they go to the reporter, who then just tells the story again. Now watch this though. I know this is going to happen. Maybe not though. It might be a self-contained package, as they call it. Whenever because you always have to be live now everywhere. It can be 11 o'clock at night. And, there was a meeting at the public library and it's been closed for 4 hours, but you're still standing in front of it for the television station in the dark. Let's go live now to so-and-so. Used to be like live was like something was happening, but now live just for live's sake, just somebody standing in front of a building at midnight, Anyway, so here is the, let me see if she pitches to the reporter. So there's the anchor tells the story. Then the reporter has an intro to his own story. And then he goes to the story. Let me see if that happens.
Imagine it's lunchtime and you're ready to get that nice, juicy burger. You've been waiting all day for those nice hot fries at Mickey D's. And so you come to this Virginia location in the Franconia neighborhood in Fairfax County, and you're going to run into a couple of things that might be unusual from what you're used to seeing.
Golly, get to the story already, for crying out loud. And he actually, first of all, what's funny about this, I don't mean to belabor this, but it's fun anyway. He acts like going in for a thing of fries is something that people, I can't wait to go in and sit down at the McDonald's and have a hamburger and some fries and a nice cold Coca-Cola. What do you say? It's like, dude, seriously, it's McDonald's. It's all good. I know it's delicious and everything else, but it's McDonald's, man. It's not like this guy actually gets like everybody's fantasy.
Go through to get a Happy Meal.
Imagine it's lunchtime and you're ready to get that nice, juicy burger. You've been waiting all day for the.
First of all, McDonald's burgers are not juicy. I'm here to tell you, right? They're not juicy. Like a juicy burger would come from another place, but don't be McDonald's like, don't be calling our burgers juicy. They're not juicy. This guy's clearly never had a McDonald's hamburger.
Those nice hot fries at Mickey D's. And so you come to this Virginia location in the Franconia neighborhood in Fairfax County, and you're going to run into a couple of things that might be unusual from what you're used to seeing. First is this sign telling you why they are asking you to ring the doorbell and what prompted this new policy.
See, okay, so already, let's see, how much is this? This is 51 seconds they have taken to get to this story. 51 seconds. First, the anchor lays it out, then the reporter lays it out, and finally, we're going to actually find out what's going on here. 51 seconds. It's one of the longest times I've ever seen that happen. And guess what, by the way? They're acting like it's a real inconvenience for people to have to ring the doorbell and in order to get inside. But the reality is they're damn lucky the McDonald's stays open, because believe me, there are other restaurants like McDonald's and others that would have closed down. Just like, okay, we've had enough of it. The violence in here is so intense. We're leaving. So these people ought to be thanking the Lord and thanking McDonald's for bothering to stick around and still employ locals to work there, instead of acting like, oh, they put a doorbell and a sign on here.
This video obtained by News 4 shows the melee inside of this Fairfax County McDonald's last week. The location...
And maybe, by the way, if you didn't blur out the melee you're showing, we'd have maybe some accountability. Like maybe a parent would see their stupid little kid on TV fighting in a McDonald's, but instead what you do is you blur out all the video. And I get it. I mean, I get the whole minor TV. I get it, but
is right down the street from Thomas Edison High School in the Franconia neighborhood.
These kids are off the chain. They have no respect, no discipline, and it seems like how they acting, their parents is allowing them to act.
Yeah, there you go. She wins the award for Sage of the Week, and we haven't even really started yet.
Inside tell us young people, including some from Thomas Edison, can be seen fighting, heard cursing, and standing on tables in the video. Managers of the McDonald's say those actions and other similar incidents led to a new policy and this sign on the front door on Monday, reading, quote, due to repeated incidents of student violence, the location is temporarily closed for dine-in service to anyone under 21 years of age.
Like, we sitting down eating, y'all smoking, y'all drinking, y'all cussing. Come on, yo. Like, come on.
Stacy, this is at Waffle House, she says. Stella, have you seen those videos from Waffle House?
I don't think so.
Where it's actually what happens is it's not just the patrons who fight at the Waffle House. It's actually the people who work there fighting each other at the Waffle House.
Oh my goodness. When you have fighting behind the counter, then you got issues.
All you have to do is Google Waffle House fight, and there will be 100 videos of people fighting at the Waffle House.
Oh my goodness.
And I guess they're tired of the Waffle House and they've moved on to McDonald's.
She, along with her grandkids, stopped by the Golden Arches location in the past and saw a group of young people disrupting other customers inside. She says she's okay with the new rule.
I understand where they coming from, because that's turning customers away.
Yeah, keep in mind the original focus of the story, which is so interesting, is that somehow this rule is an imposition on people. And even the anchor and then the reporter, imagine having a nice hot fries and a juicy burger, and then you have to ring a doorbell to get inside. It's like, dude, you guys ought to be celebrating. A day of celebration among regulars of a McDonald's, adult regulars of a McDonald's, is that the thuggy kids are no longer allowed inside. Remarkable. But instead, the story is kind of like, do you think this is an imposition on you? And she's not bothered by it at all. It's like, no, nobody's bothered by it. Because most people don't care about having to ring a doorbell or get it or ask for it. Because keep in mind, when they're inside, they can eat in peace for once. Man, even sometimes the local people are so crazy.
If you hear you acting up, that's they losing their business.
Management says adults age 21 and up can still enjoy their Big Macs and Happy Meals inside. They may be asked to show their ID. To get service, customers need to ring the doorbell, and a team member will let you inside.
This McDonald's, I would have never expected it.
Other customers, like Bridget, say she hopes young people understand that their actions have consequences.
It's a company. It should be a safe establishment for families to enjoy their food. Young people, we can't.
Oof. Man, Channel 4 must have all the time in the world. This is the longest story on the planet Earth.
It's turning into a 5-minute package.
I mean, my goodness gracious, this is almost 3 minutes. You have nothing else to talk about, and you've already told the story like 5 times.
And you get a doorbell sound effect on top of it.
Ding. Yeah, it's like, natural sound. How amazing. What an amazing development. But yeah, you've told the story like 700 times in this thing. Oh. I mean, if I were like an editor, this would be like 30 seconds of absolute wonderment, with only that one lady who's talking about how kids don't know anything these days. And once again, I always feel guilty about this. Whenever there's a fast food story and it's related to violence or it's related to E. coli, all it does is make me hungry. I feel bad about that. Like, when they do stories about, remember when Chipotle had some kind of E. coli problem?
Oh, yeah.
All I wanted to do was go to have Chipotle. Because they figured, it's there can't be any more E. coli there because you once you get E. coli and you close a restaurant down and get that never happens again. But anyway, I just get hungry. Taco Bell, remember when Taco Bell had a problem? I'm like, man, a Crunchwrap Supreme would be good right about now. I haven't had one of those in a long time. I felt like when I had it, that was ever in the crunch part of the wrap was stale taco shells. So I don't know. I never had it again. Walked away. The voice inside me said, walk away from the Crunchwrap Supreme Almond. First of all, it can't possibly be good for you. And secondly, whatever is causing the crunch there is stale. So it's not really crunchy. It's more like stale chewy. Good afternoon this afternoon. This is the Allman Report. News Talk STL.
Just took my son to your domain. You can't run it over again.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best in each of us, made better by the best in all of us. Whatever success looks like to you, Stifel is invested in yours. That's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. So whether you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Tim Jones here. Being a recovering lawyer, don't call me for your legal needs, but you should call Todd Sivia and the fine folks at Sivia Law. At Sivia Law, they'll help you through all of life's transitions, providing you with legal services in the areas of estate planning, elder law, special needs, real estate, personal injury, and much more. Locations across Western Illinois and Eastern Missouri, including right here in Creve Coeur and Wentzville. Call Sivia Law today for any and all of your legal needs. 833-995-WILL. CiviaLaw.com. CiviaLaw.com.
Hey, DIY warriors, ready to transform your outdoor space? Start with Lee May Concrete Block, St. Louis's trusted family-owned manufacturer since 1947. Whether you're building a retaining wall, creating a backyard fireplace, or pouring concrete, Lee May's got you covered. From compact blocks to large cast concrete, they provide materials and professional guidance to bring your vision to life. Military and first responders get special discounts. Visit Lee May Block Showroom or LeeMayBlock.com. Lee May Block, building your dream one block at a time.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the Morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
We learned a lot of things last week about Pope Leo, didn't we, Stel?
Yeah, we sure did.
But did you learn that he's partly black?
No, I did not know that.
Well, apparently he is.
How'd that happen?
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that he is. And what's interesting is the devout racist Sunny Hostin is thrilled about it, where she wasn't thrilled before, you see. Necessarily because, they were all, keep in mind, if you go back in time when Francis was named, they were all over him because he was traditionalist and he was anti-abortion and all that other stuff. So they didn't like him then. And then finally he warmed up to them because he started to blather on about politics. But initially, Sunny, who considers herself a devout Catholic, but really she's a devout racist more than anything else. a staunch and devout racist. So she says she's changed her mind about the Pope.
There's one other thing that's also very interesting to me because President Trump, as you remember, called Haiti a certain type of country. As it turns out,
And it is. It is.
our new American Pope has Haitian and Black roots. So we actually have a...
Yeah, well, I mean, and part of the reason why Haiti is a crap hole country is because the Pope isn't there anymore. Maybe that's it. or there are fewer people like the Pope in Haiti and more people like the people who want to put burning tires over people's necks.
To me because President Trump, as you remember, called Haiti a certain type of country. As it turns out, our new American Pope has Haitian and Black roots. So we actually have...
So now I like him. Now I love him because I am a devout and staunch racist named Sonny Hostin. And so now that I know he has Black blood in him, I like him now. Isn't that crazy? I mean, if that were the other way around, I mean, you can just imagine, right?
Black Pope, apparently...
To the point where she even called him our first Black Pope.
It's like chef's kiss for me. So apparently both of his maternal grandparents are described as Black, Haitian, or mulatto in several census documents.
So he's probably blacker than Kamala Harris at this stage, isn't he?
And on their marriage license, the grandfather's birth place is Haiti, listed as Haiti. Her birthplace is listed as born in New Orleans. They were identified as people of color. But in 1920, when they migrated to Chicago...
Jesus was a person of color too, you know. But that doesn't make him Black, you see.
The census reflected their race as white.
So I'm loving everything
so
about
I'm loving,
this Pope.
I'm
Let me
really
tell you.
enjoying it.
I like, there's like this picture of him on a donkey in Peru that I mean, it's just, he's bringing me so much joy.
Yeah.
This is a man who has, so you know.
Just wait. Just wait until he says something. You do realize he's anti-abortion, right? You do realize that. Yeah. Okay. And you do realize that he doesn't want women as deacons or priests. You know that, right? He's traditionalist in that way. He does have, as I've explained last week, with his Augustinian flair, he is going to do a little bit of environmentally stuff and things like that. But yeah.
The Americans are claiming him. The people in Chicago are fighting over him. The Haitians are claiming him. The Dominicans are claiming him. The French, the Spaniards, and the Peruvians.
And the Black people.
And so are white people. We're claiming him also, if you don't mind.
He speaks, well, I think the Haitians
Louisiana people.
He speaks perfect Spanish.
You know what's crazy about all this? And this tells you everything you need to know about really how boring identity politics really is. And how vacuous identity politics really is. Because keep in mind, instead of evaluating him as just a man, as a person who is the Pope, everybody is evaluating him based on his race, his ethnicity, where he came from, where he did this, where he did that. And I understand there's a certain level of pride, of course, he's a White Sox fan. You get all that part of it. But look at all the things that she's named off here. And everybody is like claiming a piece of him instead of evaluating him as a whole person. And that's the problem with these harpies like this chick and the others, is that they are addicted to identity politics. Sonny Hostin would have nothing to do with the Pope if he didn't have Black blood, right? She until he had Black blood in him, Sonny Hostin didn't like him. I mean, how sick is that? And how racist is it? And the way McMouth here is talking, everybody is kind of claiming a piece of him for what, their own self-absorption or whatever. It's really weird.
There's like this picture of him on a donkey in Peru that I mean, it's just, he's bringing me so much joy.
Yeah.
This is a man who has, so you know.
Yeah.
The Americans are claiming him. The people in Chicago are fighting over him. The Haitians are claiming him. The Dominicans are claiming him. The French, the Spaniards, and the Peruvians.
And the black people.
He speaks, well, I think the Haitians
Louisiana people.
I mean, seriously, I feel bad for him because everybody is kind of planting their flag on the guy just for their own aggrandizement, which is really strange, totally uneducated. And even if you wanted to go back to the words of Martin Luther King about the content of character being the sole way that you should be judging people. And yet even people who still kind of quote Martin Luther King and everything else, they don't follow that at all. In fact, content of character is probably about 10th on the list of ways that left-wing crazies like Sonny Hostin evaluate people. It's really weird. But anyway, the Pope's partly black. So
he speaks perfect Spanish. He speaks 7 languages.
and I do recall a piece of video. He was on Soul Train once.
And he speaks those languages to send a message.
Soul Train! You know.
Of peace.
Just wait till he blurts that out at one point.
Love, inclusion. I love that one of his first acts.
Or he walks into a church and says, "What's up, y'all?"
was to meet with journalists and defend the right of journalists to be journalists and uncover the truth.
Wait till you hear him say, "Where are all the white women at?"
I think it is so timely.
Speaking of Blazing Saddles.
That we have an
I didn't bring it up. Stell did.
American Pope because we are.
Is she still talking? I mean, seriously.
Going through.
How long are you going to be, dear?
Things in this country, and it is good to show the world that not all American leaders.
Okay. I just got back from ordering DoorDash. Is she still speaking to us?
Are the same. It is good to have an American that can denounce the things that are happening against immigrants here.
And it's going to have a black Pope.
Oh, my Lord. I'm serious. I mean, this is like, please. I mean, plus, doesn't anybody want to interrupt her? Like, you've got 4 other women there. When have 4 women in one place ever shut up for that long? And again, I'm not being sexist or anything, but you ladies can tell me that, right?
And she had to go to immigrants because none of them on The View seem to understand the difference between legal immigrants and illegal aliens. Can someone sit down with them and explain to them the difference because they don't get it?
Well, there's not any room. Every seat is taken up there at that table at the View. You see this though too. So the news media now is at a point where they are kind of actively trying to recruit Pope Leo to be one of their anti-Trump weapons. And so they're all talking about ways in which the Pope could be as a counter.
And Terry and Liz, do you think he will?
Of course, this is ABC. And there's Martha Red crying.
And Terry and Liz, do you think he will serve in some ways as a counter to President Trump?
There it is.
And you know what? They have never set foot in a Catholic church. They probably don't know one word of the Bible. They're a bunch of agnostic, separated people who don't have any respect for churchgoers now talking about utilizing the Pope as a counter to their arch enemy, Donald Trump. Pretty crazy.
Those policies.
Reluctantly. Right? They are the 2 most famous Americans in the world right now. And arguably Pope Leo might be even more famous than President Trump. And whether the Pope wants it or not.
I'd be okay with that. I would think that the Pope is probably in terms of just an overall a person who is, known and where people have an opinion of him. I would imagine that the Pope is probably more well known.
I think he wants to preach the gospel and do the good work of the church. They have different approaches naturally in some ways, and I think that is going to come out. He will be a voice for the teachings of Jesus, which in many ways, many Catholics believe are not consistent with some of the president's policies.
Oh, that's a good one too. Okay. I wish I could explain to these simpletons like some basics, right? So, President Trump is the president of the United States. He is a politician. He is an administrator. And in all likelihood, everything he does is not going to be in line with the teachings of Jesus. I mean, I don't know who evaluates that thing. Certainly not ABC News. Or so I think I know what's going to happen is the ABC and the other people will be, instead of like a fact check, they'll be doing a keeping in line with the teachings of Jesus check. So they'll have like a reporter. Wouldn't that be great? I'll do it. They have a reporter whose sole purpose. Now let's go to is he in line with the teaching of Jesus' desk? Bill, take it away. Well, today we're evaluating whether or not President Trump's executive order lowering the cost of prescription drugs is in line with the teachings of Jesus. Let's go to the Bible. I would advocate for one segment, a newscast, like on ABC, CBS, NBC, and let's go and check in if it's in line with the teachings of Jesus, and then you have like a bell or something, ding, 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 or a bar. We talked to several theologians, and then have a graph or something that shows whether or not he's in line with the teachings of Jesus. That'll be great. At least there'd be a reason to watch the news, which there really isn't now. So, yeah. And plus they should give me the job because I actually will be able to show that everything that he's doing is keeping in line with the teachings of Jesus. Is accepting the plane from Qatar in line with the teachings of Jesus? Jamie, take it away. Well, Bill, I'll tell you what, of course it is. And here's why. And then I'll make something up. Because isn't that what a lot of people do when it comes to the teachings of Jesus?
And you have a track record that you can stand on.
Right
because
on.
You worked with the church.
Yep. And I have also accepted a 747 myself.
Oh, good.
I can't find it anywhere, though. Last time I checked, it was I had locked it to that bicycle rack. But I can't find it now. All right. This is the Allman Report on Newstalk STL.
Who would dance on the floor in the round? She told me her name was Billie Jean as she crossed the scene. Then heavy hair turned with the ice to dream of being the one who would dance on the floor in the round. People always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. And mother always told me, be careful who you love. Be careful what you do. To the lie that comes true. Hey, Billie Jean's like my love.
News, analysis, opinion.
The New York Times says Trump has blinked.
What he is doing is putting the military at risk.
It's the control, how those dollars are spent.
A fight for the soul of the Democratic Party. 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Schneider's True Value Hardware Store. I got to tell you, love this guy. Yeah, Jerry Schneider. And he is the proprietor of a beautiful, beautiful, lifelong, legendary family-run hardware store. It's been in Old Town St. Peter's, located right there for 100 years. I mean, that is incredible. You can ask for Jerry, ask for Charlie, or any one of their amazing team members there, and they'll help you. I know I'm like beginning to start to get all my garden stuff together and a few things I need, little things for the garden, little things for the plants and things like that. And folks, I got to tell you, I'm going to use them because they're very easy, knowledgeable. It doesn't matter. The tools that they have available for you, the still products, stills are good. I have a couple of those. I have a still saw and a hedge trimmer and everything else. And those are great, great products. They have all those and sales parts and service for those. So let's say how long does this happen when you have like a battery charged tool and now you can't find the charger anywhere? How many of you have lost that before? I have. Well, they have those for you at the Schneider's True Value Hardware. Also, folks, for all of your yard needs, your shovels, your rakes, you name it, they got it for you. And for whatever weekend warrior repairs you're doing, they'll help you out with that, even give you advice on how to do it. So it's Schneider's True Value Hardware, truevalue.com/Schneider's, truevalue.com/Schneider's, right there, more than 100 years in Old Town St. Peters.
Attention gun owners, this is your last chance to enter to win the ultimate firearms adventure, the Gun Show's annual machine gun shoot and tank ride. The big St. Charles County Gun Show in May is your final opportunity to be entered into this exclusive drawing. Experience an unforgettable Saturday shooting machine guns and the thrill of riding an authentic military tank. It's all at the big St. Charles County Gun Show, May 16, 17, and 18. Your last chance to win the Gun Show's annual machine gun shoot and tank ride. Go to bkpromotions.us for more information.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Did Donald Trump and Republicans make everything great again over the weekend? We'll discuss with Senator Jim Talent at 425. At 525, Red State Headlines with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Oh, yeah, Killers, huh?
It is.
I love the Killers. I would like to see them in concert. I'm trying to weasel my way in to see Post Malone tomorrow at Busch. Really want to see him. I think some people are going for Jelly Roll or whatever. I'm a Post Malone fan. I'd like to see him. Two goals. I have three. Well, I have really two main musical goals. One is I want to see Noah Kahan, Kahan. Noah Kahan is an awesome dude. And you listen to some of his concerts and stuff, and he's one of those guys where everybody who goes to the concerts, and they know his name. I mean, they know every lyric to this, every song. It's pretty crazy. And I also want to see Miranda Lambert really badly. So I need to see Miranda Lambert, who's my favorite. So I need to go to a concert of hers. I did find out that she has a concert or something in Memphis, I think, coming up. But that's one of my big goals, is to go and see Miranda Lambert. It's the only country music person I want to see. Love her. All right. Have you heard about these squatters that basically are moving right into people's homes? They're just living in people's homes. Over in LA, they're living in these burned out homes. But I'm talking about in some properties, people move in and you can't get rid of them. It's crazy. This is what happened, though. A guy had an interesting answer in Chicago. This is coming to us from WLS ABC in Chicago, right?
ABC 7.
ABC 7, that's right. Who was it? Carol Marin was the anchor over there. Carol Marin was a badass. I think maybe not at 7, but they did run her out. You know, in local news, it's not a good thing. Like you can be a man and be 400 pounds and look like Jabba the Hutt, and you're still a news anchor at age 60. A woman they run you out. And honestly, you'd think we would be a more developed society by now, but ladies cannot age in television. And you know what? There's nothing better than a real good, seasoned female anchor, as far as I'm concerned. Carol Merritt in Chicago was one of those. I know that Karen Foss was another one, and she was great over at Channel 5. She was a legend, and I got drunk with her once over at Julius Hunter's house. It was me, Karen Foss, Dick Ford, and Steve Savard. And Dick Ford was, he was 3 sheets to the wind, man. It was like, but Karen Foss, who's absolutely stunningly beautiful anyway. And so if you can imagine, so I'm here, I'm at my, at Julius's house. If you could imagine what it's like to have grown up in St. Louis, right? Grew up in U City, and I grew up watching Julius Hunter on the news, Steve Schiff, and partly kind of grew up watching Karen Foss. Karen Foss is a great story. She started as like a floor manager, like a person who was operating the floor things to people.
Floor
and became
director.
an anchor. Yeah, floor director. Thank you, Stell. Floor director, and wound up becoming an anchor. And I kind of grew up watching her. She came a little later, and then Dick Ford, who I grew up watching. We talked about the other day with John Auble and Dick Ford, the News Beat program.
Oh, that was a great show.
I was watching when I was 12 years old, and here I am, and Savard, of course, he's a young guy, but and here I am sitting in a house getting drunk with them. I mean, sometimes you had to not think about it, because otherwise you wouldn't know what to say. You'd be speechless instead of kind of going with the program and acting like you completely. Oh yeah, of course that's what I'm doing. I'm the people I grew up watching on the news when I was a little kid. I am now getting intoxicated with. Of course, it makes all the sense in the world. Everybody does that. But I was like, dang, man. And I mean, frankly, like with Dick and with Julius, it was easier. But because Karen Foss was so beautiful and intimidating, because it was like, that was the first time I'd ever seen her in real life too. And I'm like, hi, Karen. Yeah, Karen. I was like Mrs. Foss or whatever. I didn't even know what to do. This is probably about 1994, about 30 years ago. So I'd have been like 32, 31 years old. But yeah, that was a trip. Anyway, long way to go to tell you that little side story there. But this is Channel 7, ABC 7.
Chicago man says he did the unthinkable when he discovered alleged squatters in his property. He decided to move in with them. Marco Velasquez is the owner of this.
This is funny. So that's what he did with the squatters is he squatted too, even though it's his house. But instead of becoming a pain and doing all that kind of stuff and having to go to court, he just decided to move in with them.
Side property, which is on the market to be sold. He says his realtor came by with a potential buyer, but there was already people inside.
I couldn't believe it. It was like a nightmare.
Velasquez says a woman named Charmaine and her boyfriend Codero moved in, claiming they recently purchased the property. He says the couple showed police this mortgage document, but Cook County confirms they don't see this mortgage on record. Velasquez's realtor recorded this video as the couple explained to police they had a right to be there.
Y'all bogus right now. I listen, bro.
He says police told them under Illinois' current law, they couldn't remove anyone.
I said I'm not moving out, and I said at the one point they gotta leave, they gotta get tired.
I mean, isn't that crazy? Like you can actually sit in somebody's squat in somebody's house, and they can't remove you because of eviction laws and all that stuff. And so this guy had his plan.
I was been in the property and called a couple of friends, stay overnight, and I knew they were not gonna like that.
So you're telling me that
he called some friends and decided they were going to all stay overnight because he knew that the squatters wouldn't like that, so they just kind of.
And your friends came in and moved in with them?
Yes.
Velasquez says he, his wife, and their friends got a few air mattresses and spent the night with the alleged squatters.
We stand in the living room. We were watching all the time the door. They stand in one of the bedrooms.
The next morning, he says he realized they were not budging.
They're like, oh, well, we want $8,000.
Velasquez says they negotiated. He had the couple sign a cash for key agreement, and he paid them $4,300 to leave.
We wouldn't want to give them money, but we heard, really bad stories about squatters taking over properties 6, 8, 10 months, even a year.
I mean, still, in the end, he finally got them to leave, but my goodness gracious, had to spend $4,300 to get rid of them. That's not right.
Velasquez says weeks later, a CPD detective called them, informing them that one of the alleged squatters is the same woman accused of squatting in Marcia and Carlton Lee's home after leaving his property. In the Lee's case, Charmaine Powell Gillard was arrested and charged with burglary, forgery, obstructing identification, and criminal residential trespassing. In the meantime, Velasquez says he's working with a detective, and he hopes action is taken in his case, too.
I heard stories before about squatters. I never thought it was going to happen to me.
The accused squatter, Charmaine Powell Gillard, said claims that she is a squatter are false and unfounded, and wrote, quote, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. That's just so frustrating for people. And I've seen story after story. This happens in California. I think I read a story in the Post-Dispatch about it too, that there were some people, and there are also some people who are running around and basically they're putting liens on people's properties and claiming the properties as their own. And some of these homeowners, there's hardly anything they can do about it. They've got to go to court, spend all this money and everything else. I mean, it's really terrible. And there's nothing really being done about it to keep this from happening. And maybe at some point, legislatively, the problem is in trying to protect people from, unjust evictions or running people out or doing this kind of thing. The laws have gone overboard to the point where they're just simply opening up the floodgates and giving safe passage to people who otherwise would just are taking advantage of them. And at that point, there's no way out because technically you're violating the eviction laws because they're written so broadly. So maybe that needs to change, especially just in case you wind up on the other end. But it was kind of funny. Guy had some guts, though, moving in, getting some air mattresses and sleeping with a couple of hoodlums who are in his house. All right, that's in good old Chicago. All right, Stel Ponticus, thank you so much. You guys, thank you. I hope you have a happy, blessed rest of your Monday. Columbo and Company is on the way. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively